All right, hey, what's up, guys? Coach Mac, Play Fast Football. All right, 4th of July week just ended, so for most football programs inside of 3 weeks to fall camp, videos are going to be up, ripping and running again. Let's get ready to go for fall camp. Make sure you check out some of our partners. GameStrat, sideline replay company we use at Bishop Kenny High School and the schools that I used to be at the last 6 years. Highly reliable, highly affordable. Make the change. Go to GameStrat. Excellent customer service. Check them out. Dome hats, custom hats. All right, you design your own hat. They have an online hat builder that lets you design your own hat so that you can put your logo, your embroidery, your hat style, anything you want, completely customizable. All right, they've got a new Turn 2 program that they are putting out there now where you can get your hats inside of 2 weeks. Make sure you check out Dome Hats. Go to domeheadwear.co. Completely customizable. Stock hats suck. Check out Dome Hats. Baker Sporting Goods, all right, they provide us with our coaching gear, players gear, spirit packs, coaching shirts like this, the coaching shorts that I'm wearing. All right, Baker Sports can get all of it in one convenient location. They can give you your coaches gear, your fan gear, your player gear. All right, they're in the shoulder pad business now. Our uniforms are distributed from them. They're in the baseball world, huge. Make sure you check out Baker Sporting Goods. Just Play, which is the software we use at Bishop Kenny, the software I use with my Patreon site, some of my YouTube stuff. It's our playbook software. It's how we do our installs. It's how we do our presentations. Last Thursday I did a Zoom clinic and it was all basically through Just Play with all my diagrams and our team installs. We use Just Play. It's a unique tool that allows you to quiz your players on installs and game plans using video and diagrams, so make sure you check out Just Play. And then the DifferenceUSA, the ultimate striking machine. Get thousands of reps without needing a partner. If you want to strike violently, you got to work on striking violently. I just played a round of golf last week with my guy, the owner of DifferenceUSA, Anthony Schlegel. He's got a lot of great things coming out with their product. If you don't have one in your weight room, I really don't know what you're doing. All right, and also we've been doing a Play Fast virtual clinic series. All right, if you want to hit me up for any of the individual clinics for $10, or you can get all 6 that we've done for $40, email me at sting8740@gmail.com, STING8740@gmail.com. We had Noel Mazzone doing offensive philosophy. My head coach Tim Krause did screen game. Devin Bice, the offensive line coach, did a zone game clinic. Sean McIntyre, the head coach at Creekside High School in Jacksonville, Florida, did a drills clinic on taking things that show up in games and working on drills in practice to make sure that your drills are things that are showing up in games. All right. I did a clinic on blitz families and how we categorize our blitzes. Atavis did a clinic for us on tackling and their tackling system. This Thursday night, Tyler Thomas, defensive coordinator at Bartram Trails High School in Jacksonville, former player of mine, is going to do a defensive clinic. The following Thursday, Jordan Belfori, the defensive coordinator at Colgate University, is going to do a clinic for us. The following Thursday, July 27th, Matt Lawrence, offensive line coach at Bowles High School here in Jacksonville, Florida, is going to do a clinic for us on gap scheme. So if you want any of the 6 we've already done, over 7 hours worth of football, individually you can get it for $10. It's a YouTube link. You email me. All right, we work out the payment. I send you the link. You can pause it, do whatever you want. It's right on my YouTube channel. I send you the link. You can watch it as many times as you want. Do whatever you want with it. If you want all 6 of them, $40. That's 7 hours worth of football. 6 clinics that we did, all virtually on Zoom, can all be yours for $40. All right, so getting ready to go to fall camp, right? Got to talk special teams. Special teams are a big part of what you're doing. As a 24-year head coach, I understand how important our special teams are, and now as an assistant coach, defensive coordinator, I understand that my role is to be expected to help our special teams coordinator with some of those drills, the setup of those drills, the schemes. So I now have to be a part of all that, right? So one of the things that we do a pretty good job of, I think, is how we early on in camp, and we can even do this in the summer at times, depending on the groups that we have, because you can do it without pads. It's our kickoff coverage circuit drill, right? So kickoff coverage is a huge deal. If you don't have a guy that can get it to the end zone, you better figure out how to cover, or you're going to work on skies and pooches, squib kicks. Those things are all great, but you're constantly giving the other team the ball at the 35-yard line if they handle it correctly, or maybe the 30-yard line. If you got a guy that can get it inside the 5, maybe he can't reach the end zone, but he's got decent hang time, let's not be afraid to run down the field and cover kicks. But it's very similar to playing defense. There's a method to what you're doing. We start off with a kickoff coverage circuit. How do we do it? All right, so the first circuit, we got 3 circuits that we're working. The first circuit is called the avoidance stack circuit, right? So it's butt side avoid. So what you got to teach your kids is about the first level speed zone. what time we need through the speed zone. What type of players are we looking for to get through the speed zone? And as physical of a game as football is, all right, and as physical of a scheme, all right, or a play that kickoff coverage is, and I know that rules are changing and kickoffs are trying to almost be totally eliminated, but while we're still kicking the ball off, it's a very physical football play. It involves a lot of space and guys running high speed. Guys need to understand, players need to understand, the first 15 yards of that has to be an avoidance area. We need to get down the field as fast as possible to cover, right? So if I get my bravado up, if I get my machismo up, and I try and run over somebody on the first level, even if my best player, my inside linebacker that runs 4'6", 4'7", 40 and weighs 220 pounds, if he runs flat over a guy, he gets down the field slower. So the first part is the avoidance stack. How do we avoid that first level? Where are we trying to avoid? And better yet, how do we get back on top of that player? All right, the second drill is what I would call a button press drill. Right, so it was taught to me a long time ago by an NFL special teams coordinator that I had the privilege of having on my staff for 4 or 5 years, Mark Michaels. All right, great guy, great football coach. Inside 8 or less, we got to start thinking about button press. Right, so the first part of the kickoff coverage deal, I got to understand that I'm going down the field, I'm in the speed zone, I'm flying, and I'm avoiding, all right, and I'm stacking and getting back on top. Right? Well, once I get inside of 8 yards of the football, I no longer have a chance to avoid. I now have to button press. I'm going to have to take blockers on. I'm going to have to figure out which way the ball's declaring, and I'm going to have to shed blockers and get rid of people to make a play, right? So at some point in the kickoff, I may have to take on a block. The tighter I get to the football, so he used the term 8 or less butter press. I've heard some people say 10 or less butter press. That means as I get 8 to 10 yards away from the ball carrier, I can no longer avoid and try and stack, because as that ball carrier is running towards me, inside of that distance, if I avoid, I'm not going to make a play unless he runs straight into me. Okay, so what I need to understand is I get 8 or 10 or less, whatever you're comfortable with. Sometimes it changes, college, NFL, high school. 8 or less button press. If that ball carrier is inside 8 yards, okay, and maybe I don't know what 8 yards is on the field, but it's a feel thing. So we try and give our kids visuals. Hey, the ball carrier needs to be about here. Start to feel it out. I'm going to need to take a block on, get rid of a block to make a play. Okay? And then a 3-man net drill. We've kind of wrinkled this drill a couple times trying to find the right ways we like to do it. Basically what that means is you've got guys running down the field and the ball carrier chooses a direction. All right? Well, similar to a defensive situation, at some point I've got partners on the field. I've got to leverage the ball back to my partner. All right? But also at a point, the guys that are furthest away from the ball, maybe that aren't contained players, all right, maybe they don't have to worry about keeping the ball inside of them necessarily. Those guys might need to fold, kind of like a cutback or a vice player on the backside of a run scheme. If I keep running down the field straight with the ball going the other way, I'm never going to make a play. All right, so we've wrinkled that net drill, all right, and I will show you how we do all of those things. So we take all the guys that are involved in kickoff coverage, okay, and we split them into 3 groups. Now, you got to have assistant coaches. You can't just have a special teams coordinator. These things take a lot of people. You got to have assistant coaches that know the drills, know what they're doing. Even if you want to assign one kickoff drill to a guy and say, hey, that's the drill you do all the time when we do the kickoff circuit, better that than nothing at all. Assistant coaches have to be able to work these drills, right? So we're going to get them into 3 groups. And all the guys on kickoff coverage, everybody that's a body that might cover a kick, is going to get into 3 groups, and they're going to rotate through these 3 drills, and they're only about 5 minutes apiece depending on where we are in camp. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is the avoidance stack drill, right? So how we set that up. All right, so when we are working the avoidance stack drill, all right, what we are going to do is, depending on how many guys I got in the group, all right, I like to have, if I have at least 10 guys in the group, I like to go 5 at a time. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 5 bodies out at about 10 yards away, and they're all going to face the coach, and we're going to have 5 players on the kickoff coverage. So I'll just put a K down here. All right, and then I'm going to have a coach standing behind those players. All right, and then behind each one of these guys, at about 10 yards behind them, I'm going to put a cone. Okay? So what we're going to do, okay, the guys that are the dummies in the drill, they will be facing the guy that's running down at them, and they'll all be facing the same direction. All right, the kickoff coverage guys are all facing away from the coach, so the coach is facing that direction. The kickoff players are all facing and getting ready to run in that direction. Okay, now what we're going to do is right before the whistle blows, the coach is going to point a direction. All right, so this is 10 yards apart. Okay, 10 yards apart. So we'll do it with white lines on the field. Coach is going to point a direction. He's telling all the dummies in the drill, the guys that aren't going in the drill, the guys that are simulating blockers in the drill. When your player gets 5 yards from you, you're going to turn and face the direction I point. And to make it easy, I give them all one direction. I need you all to point that way. Right? Because what we're working on is we're working on these kickoff guys being full speed. All right? So when they get to 5 yards, all of these players are going to turn and face a certain direction. Once they face that direction, it is my job to avoid butt side. Okay? The butt side or the back side of that blocker. Why is that important? Because most guys, when they set up kick returns, when they start to retreat, the side that they open to is the side they're trying to block you to. Right? So you don't want to just run down that side, widen yourself out, you're doing a job for them. So as soon as they declare, and you got to be able to get speed and step on their toes. We're not trying to run these guys over. We're trying to run by them. This is the speed zone. This is the non-contact zone. We got to get down the field, right? So we are trying to get down the field. As soon as we feel like we can get to where we can step on their toes, they got to declare which way they want to block us. All right? There aren't a ton of straight-up man schemes where guys are trying to get in your way. They're usually trying to wheel you one way or the other. So when those players turn, I now have to avoid butt side, butt side, butt side, butt side. Now the key is, as soon as I avoid butt side, I've got to stack and get back on track and finish full speed to my cone. Okay? Because I've got to get vertical. So if this camera, if I was working down the field on this camera, if I avoided butt side of this camera, as soon as I avoid, I've got to stack and get back on top of this camera and get to my cone. All right? We're talking effort. We're talking sprinting, running, avoiding butt side, avoiding tight. A lot of times, all right, we add a component to the drill, put a towel or something down here on the ground, and when they avoid, they've got to be able to scoop and try and grab that towel. Why? Because you want them to rip, dip, lean, get low, get skinny, take the blocking surface away from that guy that's trying to block you. Right? So there's a couple different things you can add to make the drill as different, change it up, whatever you want to do. But here's the thing. Butt side avoidance, full speed, through the speed zone, no contact. After the butt side avoidance, I got to stack and get back on track, right? So once you do that drill, guys, and once you teach it, you're getting a ton of reps. You're ripping through it. Easy to coach, all right? Not hard to do. The kids get the gist of it real quick. So we're talking about getting just a ton of reps, all right, on the butt side avoidance drill, all right, or the avoidance stack drill. Now, next thing we do is we go to button press. All right, and I start off and I make this drill as simple as possible. All right, I've got 5 players holding a hand shield. All right, 5 players holding a hand shield. I've got 1 rabbit behind them. I've got 5 kickoff coverage players fitted on the hand shield already. Okay, so the dummies have the hand shield. The guys that are working the coverage part are in a good football position. They are already fitted on the dummy, right? So I've got my hands inside, my elbows inside, my thumbs up. First whistle, all right? I am going to press and bench press out and start to run my feet. I'm going to give the rabbit a direction. On the second whistle, the rabbit just runs in the direction that I gave him. Okay? So we start fitted up, button press, all 5 guys. First whistle, press it, start to run. Second whistle, rabbit goes. In the direction the rabbit goes, I now have to pull rip, get off the bag, take an angle to the football. So first thing we work on is pull rip, that side, that side, that side, that side, all right, that side. Okay, now, we're not talking about pulling and ripping and going closest angle to the ball carrier right now. So I'm not asking these guys to rip in here to make a play. The first time we teach the drill, the side that the returner's going is the side we want to rip to. Okay? Side we want to rip to, because we're teaching them how to rip right and how to rip left. Once this happens live, once I take a guy on thick and button press, now I'm going to rip it to the side the ball carrier's going and take the best angle to make a play. Okay? So the first time you teach it, this kid's going to think, well, coach, the ball's in here. I'm going to rip under here to make a play. All right? We want to teach them how to rip right and left. All right? So we just want the rabbit running in a direction on that second whistle. Everybody's got to rip, pull, whatever your technique is. I like uppercuts. I like pulling the bag to me, yanking that shoulder down, and then driving the backhand up and through and back into that player. All right, I don't like when guys throw the bag straight down like that. Okay, that's just me. If you want to use double chops or whatever you're doing, that's your technique. I want to see guys pull a jersey down, get a shoulder down towards me, and then rip uppercut through. I don't want to see big swims. Okay, so simple drill. Fit it up, 5 guys on hand shields. All right, first whistle. Press it, start to run your feet. Second whistle, pull, rip to the side. The ball carrier has declared. Easy drill to do. Right? We're just getting reps. We're pulling and ripping to the right, pulling and ripping to the left. We're benching and pressing. Okay, so we're just trying to get the technique down, and we are trying to make sure, and this is, for me guys, I'm a big buzzword guy. If I'm the coach that's coaching that, I am screaming all the time. All right, I'm hollering so the kids know, hey, 8 or less, button press. 8 or less, button press. Now, old school term, button press. I'm not telling kids to put their hat in the middle, headbutt, hat in hands, which we really don't use that terminology anymore. All right, it's just the visual of button press. Take the block on, shock and shed. All right, a lot of guys like to use the term shock and shed because it's politically a little bit more correct than button press. All right, shock that bag, shed it, and let's go make a play. Whatever the terminology is that my kids know, I'm yelling it the whole drill. So when that drill starts, hey, fit it up, guys. First whistle, hey, press it out. Hey, disengage, let's go. Whole time I'm yelling it out. Hey, 8 or less, we got a button press. 8 or less, we got a button press, right? Giving them buzzwords, giving them cues, things that they need to understand to know what the drill is. Okay? And then the last one we do, and we've changed this a couple times. All right, I'll show you how we do it most recently, and I'm still trying to determine whether I like it or not. All right, we've got a returner down here. Okay, and we have 2 cones set up. Okay, we have 3 coverage players down on this side. All right, and these guys are 20 yards apart. So they are 20 yards from the returner down there. When I blow the whistle, these 3 guys are sprinting down the field. When I blow the whistle, the returner will start in one direction towards cone. He's not working down the field yet. That's not what that drill is for. All he's working on is direction because we're trying to simulate who's going to be in the net, who's going to fold, right? So the returner starts in one direction. So he starts this way. Okay? On the second whistle, the returner then changes direction and goes the other way. Okay? So, first whistle, full speed sprint, returner's going a direction. Second whistle, he changes directions. Now, the guy in the middle will always be part of the vice on the football. All right? He will always be part in this drill of what we call the 2-man vice. He's always in on attack. Okay? The coverage guy to the side that the returner declares second, which is the last side he declares. That is the other man in the 2-man vice. Okay? The coverage player that is away from the second whistle, the direction that the returner goes, is what we call the fold player. All right, so I blow the first whistle, they sprint. The returner headed, all right, and I'll give you a different color just so you can visualize this. The returner headed that way. Okay, as the returner heads that way, our guys start to change their departure angles a little bit, and we angle to the ball. Okay, second whistle, that returner changes direction, not forward, not vertical, just sideways. Changes direction. Once he changes direction, we now know the 2 guys that are in the vice. We now redirect and sprint to keep leverage on the ball on my inside shoulder pad. Sprint to keep leverage on the ball on my inside shoulder pad. Fold to end up, head up on that ball carrier in case he splits us, almost like a vice cut back out. Right? So again, drill starts. We are sprinting down the field, and that's the thing. We got a lot of guys in this group. There's only 3 going at a time with a rabbit, only 4 guys involved. We need effort. All right, so that whistle blows, coverage guys. Running, running, running. First whistle, returner goes. Change our landmark a little bit. Change our landmark, change our landmark. Second whistle, declares his final direction, goes back the other way. As soon as he goes back the other way, in the vice, keep the ball on my inside shoulder pad. In the vice, keep the ball on my inside shoulder pad, fold, try and get head up on that ball carrier. okay? So when we do those drills, guys, and again, special teams should be adamant, should be excited, all right? Get excited talking about it a little bit. I usually have one of those components. I'm not the special teams coordinator. All right, so I've had the net drill the last couple times that we've done this in the spring, so I'm just screaming at our guys, hey, sprint down the field, change of direction, vice, fold. All right, let's go. Next group up. All right, if it's the avoidance stack drill, you're yelling at those guys, hey, speed zone, sprint, butt side, stack, get on top. Good. If it's the button press, shock and shed drill, all right, you're yelling at those guys, hey, shock it, shed it, ball carrier side, let's go. Rip right, rip left, whatever it is, right? You're using a circuit, much like a tackling circuit or a turnover circuit. All things in football kind of come full circle, all right? So you do circuits to teach different types of fumble recoveries. You do circuits to work on stripping the ball, all right? You do turnover circuits. You do different tackling circuits to work on different parts of tackling. This is a special teams kickoff coverage circuit. No different, all right? We do the same thing with our returners sometimes where we work different circuits where they're catching pooches, they're catching deep kicks, they're catching squibs. And you rotate them through that, right? Trying to get reps, trying to get the most reps, trying to use our time most effectively. All right, guys, so hopefully that helps you guys out. A lot of you guys have been doing stuff like this before, but inside 3 weeks to camp, you got to get ready for special teams. Special teams is really important, so make sure you stay on top of it, all right? Remember, guys, we've been doing the Play Fast Virtual Clinic Series. Individual clinics are $10 if you want one. All 6 clinics that we've done are $40. Noel Mazzone, offensive philosophy, Tim Krause, screen game, Devin Bice, zone game, Sean McIntyre bringing drills from practice to games, drills, things that show up in games, using those drills and incorporating them in practice. All right, Atavist tackling, I did one on Blitz Family. 7 hours worth of Zoom clinics, $40 if you want the whole thing, $10 if you want one of those individual ones. All right, email me, sting8740@gmail.com. 3 more coming up. Tyler Thomas, defense coordinator at Bartram Trails this week. Jordan Belfori, defense coordinator at Colgate. The following week, the 13th. I'm sorry, the 20th. And then the 27th, the last one before football kicks off. Matt Lawrence, offensive line coach at Bowles, played at Wisconsin. Gap schemes, one of the best offensive line coaches, high school-wise, in the country. He is absolutely phenomenal. Coached against him for 12 years now, something like that. Great job, unbelievable. So if you're interested in those clinics, hit me up to register. If you're interested in any of the ones we've done, individual, hit me up, $10 a piece. All 6, $40. We'll give you all 6 for $40. That's 7 hours worth of football. All right, I hope your summer's going great. Hope you enjoyed the 4th of July. Hope you're getting ramped up, ready to go for football season, all right? If you're not a subscriber, subscribe to the channel, please. Turn your notifications on so you know every time we do a video and we go on YouTube Live. I will be on YouTube Live this week, probably Wednesday night, all right? And then thumbs up, thumbs down if you like this. Don't like it, leave a comment. I try to respond to every comment that I see, that I can see on my side. I get video ideas. I get presentation ideas. Comments are good, guys. You like the video, comment. You don't like the video, comment. I appreciate you watching. It's a public forum. You have a right to tell me that you agree or disagree. All right? My video, your comments, you can say whatever you want. All right? I appreciate you guys following along on this ride, 10 years strong. Thanks for everything you do for Play Fast. Remember, you won't play well until you play fast. Check out the clinic series as we've been doing. I'll see you guys next time.